have some.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Yes Have Some podcast. A little live presentation for you tonight. We hope everybody's having a great day. My name is Craig Goldberg. Welcome to the show. We are live streaming on YouTube today. We don't always or very rarely live stream our regular YHS episodes, but we're trying something new, and we appreciate you guys hanging out, even though it was a last-minute deal. My name is Craig Goldberg. As I said, we're going to have some fun tonight. We got a lot to cover. Jacob Walsh, what's up, man?
Hey, I like our intro.
You like that, right?
Yeah.
Sounds like the BBC News.
I want to see it again. I like it.
You want to play it again?
Yeah, play it again.
Encore. And
For those of you just joining,
for those of you joining,
we're doing the intro twice.
we're thinking about playing the intro again.
Because we like it.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it.
You should be. You should be. So yeah, there's a lot going on this week. We're going to be talking about the brand new A24 movie, Talk to Me, which is just releasing this weekend, getting a lot of buzz, a lot of hype. We've seen it. We'll kind of table that till I think maybe the back half of the episode because, yeah, we'll get into some spoilers. We'll get into some spoilers. Jesus Christ! Did you just hear that?
No, what happened? Was there a bug?
There's like crazy thunder,
Thunder and lightning.
It's like
Yeah,
intense heat in Atlanta that's igniting.
Yeah.
Thunder.
Hey Jake, let me ask you this, and this is, podcast protocol to do this live on the air. Is your audio coming through your microphone or your computer?
Computer.
Oh, but you're still talking into the mic. That is awesome.
Oh, it's not picking up in my microphone?
I'm not sure. I was asking because it was cutting in and out.
Well, I can do a little bit of you talk to Abby and I'll figure that out.
All right.
All right, talk to me.
Should be good either way. Oh, I get it. Abigail, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. I mean, I think I'm doing okay after seeing Talk to Me. I'm excited to talk about it. I enjoyed going to the movie theater on a nice, calm afternoon. Today's Friday, right?
Today's Friday.
And a nice Friday afternoon. We went to the movie theater. Craig and I are a local one, and the vibes were good. And I was excited to go see this movie. I don't know if we want to go into it right now, but we had a brush with this movie while we were in San Diego and got really close to seeing it. Ended up seeing Barbie, but it really messed with my head not being able to see this movie. So I was really happy to finally get in the theater and sit down in front of it.
Yeah, we'll definitely tell that story. We got a couple things to cover though. No, there's no audio coming from your microphone. So if you have to go through the computer, it's not a big deal. No worries. We hope you guys are enjoying yourselves and having a great
What about now?
There it is.
I fixed it.
All right, let's do the intro again.
Okay, let's play the intro.
I'm smart.
Jacob's smart.
You are.
I was acknowledging Jacob, you're back. You got the Godzilla kaiju background today, and it looks fantastic.
Switched it around, yeah. Got some nice lights.
Yeah, it's like a different place.
It looks like a whole new you.
Mhm.
It's the summer of Jacob. So, anyways, before we get into anything, because I want to talk about, it's a big movie weekend, right? Everybody has been following like Barbenheimer, which I don't ever think that word has been said on this podcast, and I hope that's the last time.
I'm hearing it out in the real world, just like being dropped. It's kind of part of the vernacular.
I was theorizing that I think in the future, anytime two big movies come out, they're going to be like, it's a total Barbenheimer situation.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to be a thing?
I do. I
Okay.
100% think we'll be using this word.
That's going in the dictionary.
I had a real Barbenheimer back in, I think, maybe the mid 90s when I saw Dragonheart and Twister on the same day.
Wow.
A dragon twist?
A dragon twist.
You had a dragon
Twist
twist?
to the tail?
I mean, it's happened before. We all know Gremlins and Ghostbusters came out on the same day.
Toy Story 4 and is it 4? Toy Story 4 and Child's Play came out on the same day.
I remember that.
And I saw them back to back.
Nice. I mean, it's the same genre if you think
That
about
was
it.
kind of recent. I remember that.
A couple years ago.
So what we'll do is we will ask you guys, if you're here watching, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. This is the other YHS channel. This is where we do all of our movie podcasting and Ghostbusters content and things like that. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming up, so we appreciate you guys being here, whether you're live or listening or watching after the fact.
It's not just the other channel; it's the core channel. I just wanted to put that out there.
Well,
This is like what other three of us like started doing,
God,
and how
the turmoil of having two children and having to give them equal time.
No,
Hey,
it's not turmoil. There's no equal time. This is number one.
This is
Yeah.
number one.
Toy anxiety is number two.
Mm-hmm.
That's how toy anxiety might be doing better, but
but not
it's
for
the
long.
number
This is
two
what we started
child.
with, folks.
It's
Yeah.
like literally.
This is my favorite. So I love Ryan. This is the core.
This is like when Deion Sanders played football and baseball.
Don't
Okay,
nope.
I'll stop.
You can keep
Stop
your
that.
sports over on toy.
Sports
anxiety.
is only for toy anxiety.
Hey, listen, I did
In
want.
this house, we only talk about horror movies, fucking Ghostbusters, Stephen King,
Fucking Ghostbusters.
no toys.
Hey, listen. I want
toys
no
allowed.
toys. Don't even.
There's
Jacob,
so many toys.
Jacob,
and
will you please blur your background?
it's offensive. Thank you.
No, listen, I wanted to bring this up because it was we have some breaking news. We're going to talk about the Exorcist trailer too, and we should let everybody know when we do talk about Talk to Me. Like we're not going to do like a beat by beat breakdown of every scene in the movie, but we will get into some spoiler territory. So if it's something you're looking forward to seeing and don't want any spoilers, just know that it's going to happen. But and we'll answer the question that's on the thumbnail: is Talk to Me an instant horror classic? Something to ponder. I'm excited. Okay, so let's get to this. We weren't going to talk about much Ghostbusters stuff, but I think we have to at least acknowledge the late breaking news. Get it up on the screen here. Deadline reporting Sony shaking up release dates for Bad Boys 4, Venom 3, Ghostbusters 4, Craven the Hunter. This doesn't even look like a real headline. Like what year are we in? Venom 3 is a thing? Come on. Jacob, did you ever see Venom 2?
No.
Yeah, me either. Did I see the first one? I saw something.
I saw the
Yeah, we
first
saw the
one.
first one in the theater because I wanted to see if I liked it.
Yeah,
Because I like Tom Hardy, but
Yeah.
after seeing him in the Lobster Tanko restaurant, I was done with the whole thing.
Well, anyways, we'll not bury the lead. Spider-Verse 2 is being delayed. Originally had a March release date, and we have a new release date, which is not very unexpected for the sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife. The deadline report says it's through being finished. It's finished being shot, but because the actors are on strike, they will need actors for things like ADR and press and reshoots and all that. So the original December 20th release date has been pushed. Now, March 29th, 2024, Easter weekend. I'm excited. I think that's a good, no competition holiday weekend. First big movie of the year. Jacob, what do you think?
Yeah, it'll be fun. It's not that big of a pushback. It's only 3 months, so I'm fine with it. I do think it would have been cool to have a Ghostbusters movie out during Christmas time when it's nice and cool out. It just would have had a nice feel to it. But I don't think this is any. This is not bad news. It's not. Hey, how far did Afterlife get pushed? Like
A decade?
A
We had to
decade,
survive a
so-
pandemic?
3 months is like, dude.
Sorry.
3 months in the pandemic is like blinking your eyes. It's
Right.
nothing.
It's nothing.
So,
I mean, what was 3 months ago from now? It's June. 3 months ago, we were like,
I know what we were doing 3 months.
oh yeah. It feels like yesterday.
Yeah, we can't
so.
talk about it. I say that the spring, it's better than February because that's like the dumping ground of movies. So I think that springtime is a good time to have a movie come out.
And there's no competition, and I think I want Ghostbusters to have a big win, a huge opening weekend. I want all the kids getting out of school, getting ready to get their Easter baskets or whatever happens. I do like this comment from Flash. He says, Easter release, is this hinting at Jesus or Satan as the big bad? What if Jesus is the villain of Ghostbusters? Yeah, I don't know. But I think it's cool. Abby, do you have any additional? I think we all expected a pushback, so
Yeah.
I'm not too worried
No,
about it.
I'm not. This is not news. Well, I mean, it is news, but it doesn't
Also,
really
isn't-
surprise me. Yeah.
It's not news.
Also, isn't that your Craig? Isn't that your birthday?
It's
When's your
around the
3/16.
the 16th.
16. Okay.
16.
All right.
But
I knew
me,
it was-
you know,
I knew it
Logan
was
Kim,
around there.
Logan Kim and myself share a birthday, so I
And
bet
me,
we'll
and me.
and Jacob Walsh. So we'll all get a big birthday cake at the Ghostbusters premiere. It'll be great.
Oh, cool.
Or as Ryan Dole said, you guys are going to go no matter if the strike's happening or not, and you're going to be called Yes Scab Some, is what he told me.
Dude, I'll scab for Ghostbusters.
So funny.
Oh my god.
And then
fun.
do we care about any of these other movies?
No.
No, not at all, dude. Not enough to take up space in this 1 hour of time that we have blocked out.
Just the hour, yes.
Just the
I'm
hour,
not
okay.
talking about. I don't even like that I'm seeing the words "The Karate Kid" right now. Get it
Yeah.
off my screen.
I don't know what Craven
Well-
Hunter is. Yeah.
When you saw, they played the Craven trailer.
Oh, is that with like the dude and some wolves and stuff?
Yeah, the dude and some wolves and stuff. Did you
Okay.
see that trailer when you went and saw Talk to Me, Jake?
No, but I watched it online.
Okay. Yeah, dude and wolves. Who cares?
The lady sitting next to me seemed to like the dude, so that's.
Well, it's what's his face? Kick-Ass. Godzilla.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Godzilla.
What's
Quicksilver.
Yeah. He's been around. He gets around. Okay, so that was our late breaking Ghostbusters update. So stay tuned for that. March 29th of next year. And Jacob, we kind of talked big movie weekend. Last weekend was literally the biggest movie weekend in like a decade or something like that with Barbie and Oppenheimer. We've all seen Barbie.
Yes.
We don't have to go to. Does anybody want YHS's opinion? Hey, you know what? Let's do a Patreon.
I don't. Yeah.
Let's do a bonus episode. YHS gets
Okay.
real about Barbie.
Okay.
Yeah,
That would
yeah,
be fun.
yeah. I'll talk about it. I want to see it a second time.
I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet, but we have Talk to Me that was released this weekend, and we've got Haunted Mansion, and then we've got Ninja Turtles,
And then the Meg.
and then the Meg. So there's like a big chunk of really great films coming out, or big things
Yeah,
we're hyped
in the
about.
dog days of summer.
Jake, are you going to see Haunted Mansion this weekend?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go tomorrow or Sunday. I'm gonna go check it out.
Okay. And then I'm really, dude, the Ninja Turtles reviews are awesome. People are like, this
Super
movie
excited.
is fun. It's awesome. It's like people are saying this is the best interpretation of the Ninja Turtles that's ever happened. But we also talked a little bit, and we'll get into it with Talk to Me about the
Hype. Got
how
chill
hype-
out with that fucking hype.
yeah, what is that?
People need to chill out. I don't know. There's only one movie I've ever seen that was hyped so much, and I usually when something's hyped, I usually hate it. I'm like, oh, cool. It's just this is nowhere near what people are saying. Like when people call a movie the best horror movie of the year, I'm like, bet it's not. I bet it isn't.
Right.
Hereditary to me is the only movie that I've ever seen where I was like, oh, I get it.
Lived up to the hype. Well, I'm excited to talk about that, but let's get into
Are we doing a appetizer with the Exorcist trailer?
we got to talk about this Exorcist trailer.
Mhm.
All right. Can we watch it? No, I guess we can't, can we?
Well, we're not going to watch it, but I have it up, and we
Yes.
can
Okay.
scroll through it to kind of. So I'm sure everybody's seen it. Abigail, you didn't see it before the theater today, though.
No, the theater was my first time.
And I told you, like, hey, they're going to play the Exorcist trailer. We need to pay attention.
Yeah, you technically hyped me up for it. I was like, oh, cool. I will know as soon as this trailer starts. It will be chilling.
And then there was multiple trailers that came on, and she was going, "Is this the Exorcist?" Like the Nun 2.
Oh, that movie.
And
looks
then
awful.
there's
Looks-
what?
nothing.
No, say it.
It looks better than The Exorcist.
Oh,
Nun 2.
Nun 2, Cruise
Yes.
Control. But then there was like another horror movie, like another Blumhouse something or another. I don't know. But anyways, okay. Jacob, let me start with you.
Okay.
Give me a little bit. Where are you on The Exorcist as a franchise?
As a franchise, it's not the
I like
best.
I like that
It
noise.
doesn't have the best ratio of good to bad. I think The Exorcist is it's either the best or it's the second best horror movie of all time, and that's like that's not my opinion. It just is. But then it's got a really, really bad sequel. And then the second sequel, the third film, is also really, really good. And it was close to the writer's vision. But then there's like these two prequels that are weird. There's a TV series that's fucking weird and shit. I don't know. It's like, as a franchise, I think it doesn't work that great. As one film, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah. I believe that. I agree. The Exorcist is, to me, it's I mean, it's weird when people ask me what my favorite horror movie is of all time. I don't often say The Exorcist. I normally would say Halloween, the original, or Nightmare on Elm Street, or Scream. But The Exorcist kind of exists on a plane of existence as a film that it's an immaculately made movie. It was a cultural phenomenon. It is fucking scary. I mean, it really is a scary, scary movie. There's not many movies that are actually, like, movies can be really gross or really whatever, but it is like, there's very few movies I've ever seen that
it's troubling. That's the word
troubling.
you're looking for. Like,
Unsettling.
actually unsettling.
Unsettling. And Rosemary's Baby is a little bit like that. Do you agree?
Yeah, but it's way tamer. Rosemary's Baby is maybe because of the time period. It's
Rosemary's
like
Baby is subtle. It's very
so
subtle.
light. It's like the lightest of all drinks or of all movies. Like, it's not a heavy hitter.
Yeah.
But it's great and it's terrifying. And the book, like, with you get psychologically wrapped up in being pregnant with the devil's baby. And I actually read the book, or listened to it rather, on a trip, and I loved it. But it doesn't have that. It's not nearly as like deeply upsetting and visually upsetting as
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I've never seen any of the other Exorcist. I've never seen Exorcist 2 or 3, and I think our plan is to.
But yeah, we can go ahead and make that declaration that
Let's do it.
This movie comes out October, I think, the 13th, which is a Friday, the 13th.
Very good.
And I am going to rewatch. I have seen The Exorcist and The Exorcist 3 many times, but I'm going to rewatch all of them. I'm going to watch part 2, as hard as it is, and then I'm going to rewatch the 2 prequels that came out, and I'm also going to watch I forget the name, but I think I was telling you about this the other day. There is a movie about the astronaut from the first movie,
Right. Which is so weird.
and I want to see that. Even though it's just kind of Exorcist adjacent, and it's just one character from that movie, has nothing. I don't think it has anything to do with possession or anything. But I'm gonna watch that too, and I'm just gonna rewatch everything in preparation for Believer.
Right. Abby, where are you on the original?
the subject matter is like deeply disturbing and close to home for me a little bit. So I honestly have like, it's not my go-to to watch, but it's one that I respect above a lot of other horror movies. Like I recognize the importance and like how influential and how much of a lightning in the bottle type of effect happened with that movie.
Yeah.
But no, it's not something that I would like say I go back and like have fun watching. It's a terrifying watch for me.
Right.
It's very real and visceral and like,
but also deep in the bowels of YHS history, I believe The Exorcist and Linda Blair is a through line.
mm-hmm.
I implore everybody to go into the YHS archives and find the entire Linda Blair epic. I think we should make a documentary about that.
We should, yeah.
We should. Like
Yeah.
The saga of Linda Blair, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think it's over. I think there might be a legacy sequel.
It's just beginning.
Believer. Believer. So Abby, let's set the stage a little bit here. Exorcist Believer is the legacy sequel. It's doing the thing that all these it's what? Terminator, Dark Fate, Halloween.
Yeah.
it's connected to the first. It's a direct sequel to the first movie, seemingly ignoring any other canon that came after.
But we're going back to Reagan's room, basically. Like
we're
it's
going back.
Yeah, we're going back to the firehouse.
Reagan
we're going back to the Stanley Hotel.
Reagan is like an NRA mom. She's been training for the return of the demon her whole life. No, I'm just kidding. That might be the story, but that's not what's in the trailer. But Abby,
why did you tell me my grandfather was a payman?
Abby, walk me through the reaction to this trailer in the theater.
I was caught off guard when I realized that the music that was kind of cutting in was the Exorcist piano sound, because the first couple scenes of this trailer, I was like, oh, this is just a dumb Blumhouse movie that's going to be about two little girls, and it kind of feels like it's like it showed so much. For one thing, it felt goofy and silly, and like it was a kind of a bumbling around type of trailer. The lightning is striking right now, and I think it's Linda Blair. So
she's returned.
If you can hear, if we cut out, but yeah, I thought it was a literal, like a laughable, goofy, over the top trailer. The person sitting next to me was literally shouting, "That looks terrible!" after the trailer ended. I was almost like offended by it. Like it just felt really stupid.
Yeah, so Exorcist Believer is this is the part that breaks my heart. The team behind this movie, David Gordon Green, Danny McBride, these are our guys. Righteous Gemstones is the best television on television.
It is.
Like, is it
I completely agree.
I agree.
And these are very capable filmmakers. And like, Jake, where are you on the Halloween remakes that they did?
Oh, they're pretty. I think they're bad. I don't like those either. And I felt this same way when those came out. I was like, oh man, like I trusted these guys. I just think horror isn't their thing. Like maybe they love it, and I believe, when they talk about how much respect they have for it. But I just think it's not their thing as far as making it. I do not think the Halloween movies were very good. There was things in them that was fun, but overall I didn't like any of them. All three of them, I disliked them.
Right.
And I mean, I don't think any of us had we reviewed all three of those, and none of us were like in love with them. Like you might have liked them more than I did, but none of us were like, these are amazing.
Yeah, I liked the first one. I did not think it was, Jake, we talked about this recently about how come X looks so good as a film? Like
it's a visionary horror director, and instead of directors who enjoy horror movies and want badly to do their own, but are actually better at doing comedy.
I just feel like, I feel like there's an aesthetic that the famous 1970s movies in horror, like Exorcist, like Halloween, have, that I think like this Exorcist trailer does not recapture it. Like even in like the slightest for me.
No, it feels exactly what Abby just said. It feels like a Blumhouse, nice and shiny, like the Blumhouse movies have a real what is the word? Like none of them feel
shiny veneer.
Yeah, none of them feel real. It's like, cool, look at this set we're on. Everything's nice and lit, and none of it feels like you're in the real world. Definitely this trailer, I was like, the acting seems weird. Everything about it seems artificial, and it just doesn't give you a good feeling.
Mm-hmm. By the end of the trailer, when they're showing the shots of the two girls looking up and like posing for the
good
photo
timing,
shoots,
by the way,
like doing their selfie series, those moments were like, just, I'm like, this is like kind of disrespectful to The Exorcist, and it just doesn't, it feels like, well, this is modern times, and also it's like they're shiny and they're so like like cliche almost, seeing two girls with like the upside down crosses. It's nothing about it subtle.
So I will say this: there's been a lot of like Exorcist and possession movies that have come out in the last 30 years, and they've all tried to recapture whatever the magic special sauce was that the Exorcist had, and none of them have really done it. And I was when the first poster came out like 2 weeks ago for this, which like the black and white version of what we're looking at, it was kind of cool looking, and I was like,
Came out
oh,
while we were at Comic-Con.
yeah, and I was like, oh,
And I thought so too. I was like, hey, that look, at least that looks like The Exorcist to me.
right.
Mhm.
But now, so what the plot seems, it's the two girls, two different families. And who's in this movie? Leslie Odom Jr. He's from Hamilton. Jennifer Nettles is in it, who is the matriarch, the hologram of the Gemstone family.
Okay, yeah. So you see some crossover.
But the scene in the I'm just gonna flip through some of these still images. The scene in the trailer where she's walking through the church.
I hate that.
That
Broad daylight. Nobody's acting normal. Like somebody would intervene. Like,
hey, the voice effect is like, did they just go to like GarageBand and pick Haunted Girl?
Yeah, it's a voice effect that you see in every straight to streaming horror film. I just I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you can see here, Ellen Burstyn, is that her name? Bernstein,
I think.
Bernstein. She is Reagan's mom, right?
Yep.
In the original. She's returning.
Yep. McNeil.
Do we care? Like, does just objectively, even without seeing this trailer, like, do you need a new Exorcist movie to have like that connective tissue to the original?
I cared at first because I think she's really great in The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Like, she is really phenomenal. Like, she makes everything in that movie seem, I think without her in the original Exorcist, you would lose a lot of the realistic feel that you have. And it's because she plays it all so straight, and you can tell like she feels like a real like grieving mother. None of it feels fake. But that was like 40 years ago. Can she still act? And then also she's having to do that. She doesn't do a lot of acting, I don't think.
Right.
And I don't think that just sticks with you. And she's also not dealing with the writing or the directing of the two people who like masterfully put together the original. She's dealing with fucking Danny McBride and David Gordon Green.
Yeah.
And great people, but this
exactly
is not the thing.
David Brosnan.
I literally worship, and adore, and am super inspired by, and have been for a long time, by Danny McBride and his writing team, and Jody Hill, and like everyone who works on Gemstones together. And before that, working on Vice Principals or Eastbound and Down. Like that's my comedy troupe. That's the comedy that makes me laugh the most. It's just outlandish and inappropriate. I'm
watching Eastbound and Down for the first time now, and I'm on season 3, and it's so funny to me.
Yeah, that's what they do best. And then you see notes like in Vice Principals, there's notes of horror and like scary things that happen in that show in like the season 2 finale. And then you see there are some very scary scenes in Righteous Gemstones. So you can see where that adds to something, but taking that out and trying to do an entire movie, it's an entire horror movie. I don't know if that's the best idea.
They've already also announced the sequel to this movie. They're going to do a trilogy. So Universal announced.
I don't like that. I don't like that feeling or that thought of like, we haven't even put together the first one yet, but we know we're doing a trilogy. We're writing this into a trilogy. This movie isn't out yet, and they're like, here's part 2. I don't like just make the first thing. Make the first one. Don't write the first with the third in mind. That is a way. Hey, that's how you get a movie where Michael Myers gets beat up and somebody else is the new Michael Myers.
Right. Or Batman and Robin.
He's just not in the movie for half of it. Like, that's how that shit happens, is because you're writing yourself into a hole and you don't know what to do. So you write something stupid.
Yeah.
Do do we think? Because like objectively, it's just a bad trailer. It's got all the like weird,
Hackneyed.
like it's just
Yeah.
bad.
Like it
is
just cuts to the girls' faces shaking, and I'm like,
Oh,
come
it's like-
on,
right.
What are you doing?
Right,
Mhm.
right. Especially with the backdrop of seeing Talk to Me right after it, which was well, we're gonna get into it, but it was enjoyable and original and all that stuff. So, but is there a chance it's just a bad trailer and the movie might be a
Let's
lot
hope.
better?
Let's all hope so.
I'll
Because we'll be
I'll
seeing
give
it.
I'll give it the benefit of the doubt and say, sure, that's possible, but this movie's gonna suck.
This looks so bad.
Mhm.
Look at that. That looks like an Ozzy Osbourne album cover.
Mhm. Like I've seen these things
See how
before. It's
clean and like wealth, beauty. Like I just don't like the look at this.
Yeah.
I don't like put this up beside any screen grab of Reagan in the first Exorcist, and this can go fuck itself.
yes. The
Get-
fucking original is as good as it is because of the time that it was made in, like the effects that they use being practical and all of those things. It's just it feels very cheap to like resurrect it like this. And yeah,
No pun
as
intended.
much as I love, the team behind it, I just I'm not.
This
looking
is the
forward to it.
grossest thing I've ever looked at. This image I'm looking at right now. And actually, this never mind. I'm not gonna say. I can censor myself
Dude,
sometimes.
say whatever you want.
I was just gonna say, no, it's me. It's fine. It's
Okay.
fine.
What is this? Are you getting is that the watch you're getting? You said you wanted a watch. Is that what
I
that
was.
is? Is that why watches keep popping up?
Watches are popping up. I love the original Exorcist, and I want to rewatch it. We're gonna rewatch it coming up. But there's just not much to say about the trailer. It's bullshit. It's like paint by numbers. Like they
Yeah.
put it into a trailer making machine,
Yeah.
and it was like, I don't know, it just wasn't good. And it's kind of surprising because these guys are really serious filmmakers, but it just I'll say this. I kind of thought like, oh, it's a really bad trailer, but this is what the mass studio, movie going
Sure.
audience wants. But then literally we're in the theater today and people are like audibly laughing. Like the thing where the music starts coming in little by little is supposed to be really effective, and everyone's just like not.
Yeah, dude. It's just,
in the blood.
yeah, we see
body
what
in the
you're
blood?
doing.
The body in the blood. Body in the blood. It sounds like South Park.
If you're, I don't know, there's something about like having to if you're featuring the most fucked up looking stuff in your trailer, it's kind of like you're almost like you're not confident. Like it's like if you can't keep and hide that stuff for the actual movie,
what makes the first? You guys talked
it's
about
too much.
You talked about the subtlety of Rosemary's Baby, and what I love about the first Exorcist is the slow build and how it gets more unsettling.
Yeah, that's why this is just like super, like you're just jumping to third base so fast instead of going slow and enjoying things.
Yeah, but guys, this time 2 girls get possessed.
That's so dumb. Like, oh, they have two girls have a connection in a hospital. They're gonna both put their hands up on them.
a dyad in the force.
Oh my god, granddaughter.
Yeah,
These are Palpatine's kids.
these
He's
are
got so many
Palpatine's
grandkids.
twins. Do it again. Yeah, I just like
Their heartbeats are in sync.
Oh, that was the shit.
Cool.
So bad.
It's like where it's borderline. Like, is this just supposed to be a funny joke? It doesn't have the terror. It doesn't have the little details.
And listen, I'm not a. Oh, sorry, Jake, go for it.
I was just gonna say, I hope Leslie Nielsen shows up.
De-aged CGI AI Leslie
Oh
Nielsen.
yeah.
No, but seriously, I'm not a religious person and never have been. So The Exorcist never gets me like on that plane of existence, really.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the original was like this old ass priest, and he's over in the desert and he's finding statues, and like then you're like in the United States, and everything is just fucking creepy and upsetting
and anchored and ancient and
Oh.
feels old. And as somebody who did grow up in the church where spiritual warfare was something that was like openly accepted and discussed, this is this hearing about this movie and knowing that movies like this existed as a child terrified me. And then as an adult seeing it now coming out and being my own self and not being religious, it's still really terrifying. It taps on those like scars and those wounds, and it's because it seems like the most believable version of a possession.
And also, this movie looks like at some point they were like is it like they watched The Exorcist and now they're gonna die in 7 days? Like that's what this feels like. Like it feels wholly.
That's
not
what happened in the woods.
Yeah.
How long?
No,
They
were
all
you,
did Ring Around the Rosie.
What happened was they tried to get Linda Blair's autograph, and she put a fucking curse on him.
put a spell
Yes,
on 'em.
Pazuzu. Sorry, I said payment earlier. I had to correct myself.
That's okay.
Yeah. Different P.
It's
different
like
demon.
they that line in the trailer where he's like, "How long do you think you were gone?" She's like, "A couple of hours."
I don't know.
It was days.
It was
Also,
three days isn't long enough to be that upset.
The scene where he's brushing his teeth, and she just
Yeah.
shows up, and she's like, "What'd you say?" And he's like, "I didn't say anything." Okay.
Now, hey,
Cutting room floor.
there were unverified rumors a while back that this movie was testing very poorly and that there was extensive reshoots. Now, you kind of hear that about a lot of movies, but
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to believe it. Saw the trailer, and now I am a believer.
Nah.
This movie looks bad.
Nah, dude. Still an
Fast,
atheist.
yeah.
Sorry.
Hey,
Not
no.
sorry.
we've given this trailer too much time. Let's talk about Talk to Me.
Let's
Yeah, I
talk-
want to be here. I want to fucking have fun on this podcast. Let's
All right,
do
let's
it.
do it.
40 minutes in. What are we doing?
Yeah.
getting them likes. Okay.
How are we?
Thanks for liking the video, and thank you to those of you who are watching and who are listening later on.
Talk to Me. A24 new release. I'm gonna if you're not familiar, because I'm not sure when the buzz and the hype really started. Jacob, you talked to me. Sorry, that was actually an accident. We talked about this movie about a month before Comic-Con, and you were telling me a story that or you had seen the trailer and weren't that into it at first.
I saw that. So this movie premiered, I think, at Sundance this year, which it's been a little bit. And since then, it's been getting some screenings. And
right.
a couple people I follow have seen it. And some people whose opinion on horror movies I respect. And I've seen a lot of like, hey, this movie is gonna fuck you up. And I remember I saw the trailer. I watched the trailer because I saw all the buzz about it, and I remember being like, "Yeah, that looks fine,"
Right.
But there wasn't anything in the trailer that made me think, "Holy shit, I need to make sure I see this." And it wasn't until I started seeing people talking about it, being like, "Hey, this movie's pretty great."
Yeah.
It wasn't until then that I was like, all right, I'm in. I want to see if these people are saying this about it, then I'm into it. I want to see it. And then we found out about the screening at Comic-Con, which we tried to make I guess we don't have to go super detailed into that, but long story short, we tried to see this at Comic-Con and it kind of fell apart and we weren't able to. So
yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, I never watched the trailer for this movie, so I went into this knowing
nothing
except for that there was a hand on the poster.
Yeah, I was aware of that.
And yeah, Comic-Con, they did a screening. It turned into a complete clusterfuck, and unfortunately,
we were not the only ones who went and got in line and didn't see it. It was a good number.
Yeah. Which was a bummer because we because the hype started happening and the directors did a panel at Comic-Con and so on. So now the directors were there at the screening. We were standing right next to these two guys, these two children. What are they? They're
twins. They're twins. I think they are. I think they got to be much younger than we are. They were YouTubers. They had like a show that I had never heard of, and I don't know if it was a show on TV or if it was a YouTube show, but this is the first thing they've done other than that.
Right.
Show.
They had a YouTube channel that got really popular.
Michael and Danny.
Yeah, called Raka Raka. They're from Australia. Danny and Michael Filippo. And yeah, they were there, and I was like, guys, should we at least try to get a picture with these directors? What if we end up loving this movie? We didn't.
I was like, no, I'm going to see Barbie, and I'm sad now.
Sad Barbie.
Like I don't want to make it worse, but it was kind of nice, and I don't want to spoil anything about my opinion, but yeah, now I wish I'd taken a picture.
Right. Okay. So let's get into it. We probably will get into some spoiler territory, so that's your warning. Talk to Me came out this week. The hype is real. We saw it in the afternoon. Every theater or every seat packed. Like people, it seems like people are excited about this movie. Jacob, well, let me give a high level plot, and then we'll get into some opinions.
Okay.
The high level plot is, there's a hand.
Craig, you have no business doing the high level plot stuff.
No, I wanted to
Yeah.
bring this up. I haven't brought this up to you guys all day. Okay, when I was a kid, me and my friends would get together, and this is embarrassing and stupid and shows that I was a big dummy.
Mhm.
When I was 11, 12, we would get together on the weekends, 4 or 5 of us, in my bedroom, and we would make ourselves pass out. Did you guys ever do that?
Yeah, that was like a thing in youth group that was like popular. I remember.
So you would
Now,
when we
were
go
you
on-
jerking off while you did it?
No, it's like you make yourself
Not
like you
till I was
breathe really
20.
heavy, and then somebody like pushes on your neck.
So listen,
I
this is
never
what you
did
do.
it. My
Hold
brother
on,
was
hold on,
into
because
it.
I've never heard of this.
that's what this movie reminded me of.
Well,
take,
it's a drug allegory. It's
Right,
it is very much, and it's played the same way. It's kids getting together at a party, doing things they're not supposed to do. They're
Recording it.
It literally looks like they're getting high. You know what I mean? Like they're all having fun. They're laughing. They're recording it.
Well,
Other people are, there's like peer pressure. It is very much.
So that's what I wanted to bring up. The passing out thing. What would happen was you take like 10 deep breaths and you throw your head back and you would hold your throat like this.
Or somebody else would.
Right. And then you would pass out. And it's, by the way, hold on. It's extremely dangerous. Never do this. I'm not advocating this, but we did it.
Craig, it's very shocking to me that you did something like that, because I feel like you're a little
Leonardo.
Well, it's a testament to peer pressure.
You didn't even want me and Abby to walk into the abandoned casino
Video game.
I just
castle.
wanted to
You're
go
all
home.
scared, but you'll choke yourself until you pass out like a lunatic.
But what happens is when you pass out and you wake from it, you'd have an extremely euphoric feeling over your entire
blood starts rushing through your body
Right.
again because it gets cut off. Yeah, yeah, dude, it literally is.
So that's what this movie reminded me of, where like they go through this horrible possession and then they come through. They're like, oh, amazing.
Craig's watching this movie and he's like, oh fuck, I gotta go pass out later.
Hey, I gotta go get some popcorn real quick. Cut to me in the bathroom. No,
it's still a really good example though of how peer pressure and things like that build. It's like you're in with us, you're part of the community, we're doing something that's secretive. Like it's being accepted is part of it.
I need to clarify something because the chat. This was
Everyone's-
not a sexual gratification thing. I was like 10 years old. I'll never forget, my stepbrother did it. Me and my brother were supposed to catch him. We were in the front yard and he fell the other way.
Yeah, but listen, if you were 2 years older, it would have been. If you knew you could jerk off, you would have been jerking off.
If I knew I was allowed. Starting to regret doing this one live. Anyways, okay. Jacob, can you give me the high level plot
move along,
besides the analogs to doing drugs?
Yeah, so there's a hand. And that's one of the things I liked about the movie is they don't spend more than 30 seconds explaining what the hand is. There's a mummified hand.
Yeah.
I don't know how they know. It's kind of it's passed down from owner to owner basically, and if you grab it and you say talk to me, you see a spirit. And then if you say I let you in, it possesses you, but you only get like 60 seconds or something bad can happen. And that's it. Somebody does it for more than 60 seconds and the rest of the movie is bad things happening because of it.
Right.
That's it.
So let me roundtable this question. Jacob, I'll start with you and I'll go to Abigail.
Okay.
So you liked the movie?
Yes.
Okay. There's always a point when you're watching a movie, for us, where you have that internal thought where you go, I think I like this.
Yeah.
So at what point, what scene, what character?
I can tell you exactly.
The cast is really good. All unknowns. But what was your moment?
Before, let me say something about the cast. I thought that this movie was the first time in a really, really long time where the cast seemed believable. They seemed like actual kids. They were all really good. That is a fucking kid, but all the rest of them are a little older than this kid. Right. But they all seemed like believable. I told you this on the phone. it reminded me of the original Nightmare on Elm Street with the cast.
Yeah,
They all felt real and believable, and I liked everybody. The moment was this moment. And in fact, the first 20 minutes or so, I was like, okay, I like this, but it's not blowing me away.
Right.
But when this kid says, I want to do it, and he does, and it goes wrong, and he starts freaking out, and he's like smashing his head on the table, and he tries to pull one of his eyes out. That moment, I said, I'm in. This is it. This is the moment that kind of, this is literally the moment in the movie where everything starts to really go bad.
Yeah. I mean, I had that moment in the opening scene when I saw, like, if we're doing full spoilers, it doesn't really matter.
Hold on. Watch this. Making a thing.
Dead air.
Nope. Watch this.
Yeah, no one talk.
Talk to me. Well, okay, love it.
Here comes the spoilers, folks.
Yeah.
Opening scene of a party is already heart-poundingly stressful if you're looking for a friend that is, you don't know where they are and it's loud and there's strobe lights, and I'm sorry, my phone's ringing. Yeah, it's probably a telemarketer. So I should talk to damn it, motherfucker.
How do we do the same thing?
We have the same brain. So for me, yeah, watching somebody rushing around a party, like looking for somebody, having been in situations like that, I was already in. When the dude finds his friend or brother, I can't remember right now. Brother, thank you. When he finds his brother, he is visibly like has scars and wounds on his back. He walks out into the kitchen of the party and begins. He stabs himself in the fucking forehead. Like there's a couple things that happen before that.
Good opening.
But it is, yeah, it is. That to me is, I'm like, that is my A24 open. I want something fucked up. I want it immediately. I want it on the appetizer plate. And sorry, I just saw Hal's comment. I never answers my call. Hal, you can call me anytime. So for me, I was like, oh, instant fucking like self-mutilation death, really upsetting in the middle of a party like that. I love death in like an amusement park or in a happy setting at a party like that. Like it is just visceral, grounding, upsetting. So yeah, that had me. I was like, oh, I love this movie. I like the music that's playing, and I like this opening. It is it grabs you, and that's what needs to happen.
I was really impressed. First time director, cinematography was really good. The sound design was great. That scene you were talking about where the kid's smashing his head on the table is loud and abrupt and terrifying.
Yes.
And doesn't rely on score to make it scary.
It's so jarring.
You're just watching a very scary thing happen.
There's
casting. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Just gonna say casting on that kid, which I just looked up. Joe Bird plays Riley. That it was like the best casting. Like that is a kid who already, you look at him and you're like, I kind of feel some sympathy for this kid. Like he seems like he's probably like a little bit of a, on the outskirts, getting picked on. And then when you see his vulnerability and the evil taking over and entering, even when you see before he does that, when Mia's doing it and she says, I'll split you, or whatever she repeats over and over. I was like, this is good. Like he's getting the worst of everything in this movie. And I know that's going to happen. And it did, but it was more terrifying than I anticipated it being. Yeah. Continue.
I was just going to say the effects also are really well done. It's nice, and it's got some gross moments, and I didn't think it was like too over the top gross, but it's very visceral. And then I also thought when you start seeing the ghosts that you're seeing, they're all very well done. The one that's like the fat, there's like it's like one of the first ones you see. It's like a fat woman who's one of her eyes is like looking the wrong way, and I was like, what? I was like, that fucking looks cool. And then like the old one that's in the wheelchair later on, I was like, they did such a good job on the
the woman,
the ghosts,
proportions,
they all look cool.
So by the way, I liked this movie a lot, but there's nothing about podcasting I love more than like your guys' enthusiasm is getting me even more excited that we got to see a good movie. Like,
I was so happy to see a good movie. Yeah, like you take a risk when you go out to a theater, honestly, to leave your home. You don't know what you're going into.
You don't know what's going to happen.
There's people out there. And then when you see a movie and it's not as great as you thought, it can be a bit of a letdown, and it definitely does affect me. But to
Hey.
see something that I'm like, holy fucking shit, I have my arms over my head. I'm like holding my knees and having to look away from scenes.
The
It
woman
was where I wanted to be.
sucking on the guy's foot.
Sucking on the foot, the kangaroo in the beginning with the groans.
Theater was laughing at the toes, and my theater was laughing so hard. And I think it was meant to be. There's some funny moments in this movie,
Right.
which I thought were really well done because they felt like natural funny moments and not like let's throw a joke in here.
Right.
But the moment where whatever I can't remember the characters, when Daniel's like jerking off, basically he's like a demon and he starts jerking off, and they're all filming him, laughing at him, and he's making out with the dog.
When he's making out with the dog, but it was also gross. Like,
I mean, it's bestiality. It's disgusting.
It was disturbing, and
it is very disturbing. But I just wanted
like
to
that dog though.
Poor dog. Well, you know what? Maybe I had a good time. I don't know. Sorry, probably shouldn't comment on that. But what I was going to comment,
probably not actually making out with dogs. Probably some CGI happening there.
That's good. No animals were harmed in the making of this movie. What I was going to hit on though is you mentioned the humor being really real and believable. There were some scenes, many scenes actually throughout this movie that were grounded in so much emotion and so much grief and gravity and like human emotion being exchanged in such a believable way. It's the first time I've ever seen a horror movie that had me shedding tears.
Whoa, sorry.
No,
I've never seen this image.
Me either.
That is insane. I cannot believe that was a poster. That's something I'm glad I didn't see before I saw this movie.
Right. Maybe I'll take it off the screen. Spoiler.
Yeah, you didn't. The spoiler thing's on.
Anyway, giving out spoilers. I'm gonna talk about the ending in a minute.
Yeah. I want to get played like a little violin when I go to movies. I want to be like laughing, crying, scared, and surprised. I want to feel all those emotions. So with this, to be able to go from like, oh my God, I'm relating to this character who's experiencing grief from the loss of a parent, like that's hitting me, and I'm crying. But then I'm like, scared shitless. Like I have not had that like vacillation between those two before, and I really enjoyed it. It made for a gratifying movie experience.
I want to highlight the cast is really good. I agree with you on that, Jacob. But I think Sophie Wilde, who plays the main character, which is kind of it's kind of like total. Her name's Mia. Getting into total spoiler territory here. A complex character. It's not a cut and dry final girl. Like there's a lot of
she's not a final girl.
She's not a final girl.
But, literally
at all. But
sorry,
it's like
spoiler.
she there isn't a final girl, but she's like possessed, but she's not, and she's trying to figure it out while still like continuing to like I don't know, like I want to see it again to kind of pick apart what's actually happening. I think though she was really good. It was a really well casted, great performance. I thought her chemistry with what was the younger brother was great. I thought her chemistry with Daniel with Riley and Daniel was great. So yeah, so the whole cast was really good, and like it's that thing with modern horror where like even though it's like low budget first time directors, like you don't feel that. It doesn't feel like they cut corners. Like everybody's really talented.
No, because the story's so good. It's like you could be like on the surface and be like, yeah, she's possessed, or she's haunted by grief that she can't come to terms with. And by ignoring it and not being able to accept what happened to her mother, she continues like in this pattern of like addiction and pain and hurting. And I think that stuff's like so much better, so much richer story material than just like, it's a demon or something like that. Like there was like,
but it also, so the one question that I had that I was left with watching this movie was that, so she's talking to her mom has died
right
before the movie happens.
Right.
She sees her mom when she does the hand thing. So she wants to keep doing it. She's talking to her mom. She's seeing like an undead version of her mom the whole movie.
Right.
But the thing is, this is something they never really answer. Was that actually her mom? Like, was it her mom? So the two options are either it wasn't her mom and it was just something fucking with her, or it was her mom, and the whole thing is that once you pass on to this plane, it corrupts you in turn, because they're all the ghosts are evil in this. They all have bad motivations. So is it when we die, we just become these awful creatures that just prey on the living? Or was that a demon that just knew that she was going through something and was pretending to be her mom the whole time?
Right.
Don't know.
That's something that Craig was asking he was like, I was a little bit confused about the mother and the father relationship, and how that, and I think that it it is almost that confusion that drives you to madness of questions of losing a close family member and what led to that and what put them in that position. And that's why the hands and the fingernails were so haunting to me, because she probably is struggling to accept how her mom, who, when you see the videos of her and her mom together, I was crying because they were really well acted scenes that just felt so real. And when you see that, you can it's, sorry, I lost my train of thought a little bit. It's been a long day, but yeah, when you see those things, it makes it even more terrifying, and it makes it even sadder to think, like, how could this person kill themselves? How could they take their own life?
Was it
And it's like
accidental? Was it on purpose?
That's the
part. And listen, I only saw the movie once. It was a couple hours ago, but when the dad is reading her like the suicide note and telling her, oh, your mom actually killed herself. And then she goes to her room, and then her mom says, hey, he's lying to you. That's not your actual dad. And then there's two versions of the dad, and she killed, like, I don't.
Are you confused? Are you confused by that?
I'm not. Well, I know I think I am a little confused.
There's only one version of the dad.
Oh, right.
The dad that's trying to kill her is not real.
Yeah, that's exactly true.
The ghost is tricking her into killing her dad.
Right.
Yes.
It's the same thing that happens.
Like subconscious.
Even though you don't know it specifically, it's the same thing that happens in the opening. The guy stabs his brother in the chest and then stabs himself. Something is talking him into doing that.
Right.
The mom killed herself. That letter is a suicide note.
It
is a suicide note. The ghost version of the mom is just preying on the daughter, and she's like, no, I would never kill myself because I want to be with you. And because she tells her that, she doesn't, it's causing her to not believe her dad, even though her dad is there and alive and has a real note, and the mom that she's listening to is a fucking ghost.
Yeah, which is also an allegory, like you were saying, a metaphor for drug use and for being completely checked out and not being able to believe what's true, and for having your own version of things in your head.
And also, and just not being able to discern from what's real and what's not. Being kind of lost in your own reality, which is all very scary.
And being caught up in like the peer pressure of it. Just, I know that kind of is more the beginning of the film, but like the everybody filming you, let's all do it type of thing.
But I want to talk about what is the thing. So if you read anybody's reviews of this movie, they're like, hey, this movie has a lot of like existential, they're like, it's very scary, and they're like, it's scary on a different level. It's not scary because a ghost jumped out at you. It's scary on a thoughtful level. And I was like wondering what that meant. And that is the best part of the movie, is that stuff when it happens, and they don't start kind of cluing you into it until Riley's in the hospital.
Right.
And there's a scene where, anytime Riley, so he hurts himself when he does the hand thing. He's in the hospital, and anytime he kind of comes to, he tries to kill himself.
Right.
And you're like, what is happening? Why is he doing this? What's the deal? But then you get like a glimpse of like what's kind of like the afterlife for him, and he's just being tortured he's here, his body's here.
Yeah.
But
it's like Hellraiser,
horrible afterlife happening where these ghosts are just trying to I don't know what they're doing.
It's like a Dante's Inferno level of torture and
torturing him. And
shit.
This made me think about.
I know what you're going to say.
What am I going to say?
Revival. Is that what that book is?
Do you just want to do it? Do you want to just do my speech for me?
No, because I've never read it, but
This made me think of Revival. It
Yes,
did, because
thank you,
that's the whole plot of that's the plot of Revival. Basically, when you get to the end of Revival, the big hey, spoilers for Revival.
Yeah, should we
The
put up
big-
another?
No, I just said it. Spoilers for Revival.
We'll put that one up again.
Sure. The kind of big twist at the end of Revival is that a character sees what the afterlife is, and it's an afterlife that everybody's going to experience. No heaven, no hell. This is the afterlife, and it's awful for everybody. It's nothing but torture for eternity by creatures.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this movie does. This movie's the same thing. It shows you like, hey, afterlife seems to be real, and it's awful. It's going to twist you into some weird creature, and you're the only thing you're going to want to do is prey on whatever you can.
Let me comment on this.
Or be put out of your misery.
Yeah, and that's the part of the movie that's
psychologically
scary.
terrifying. The end of the movie is so fucking
Hold
perfect.
on. Before we get there, though, because this scene is so. Riley is in the hospital, and this is the boy who keeps trying to kill himself, and he's banging his head on the table. When Mia is in there and she encounters the young girl, it's very scary. Like, it's already unsettling. And she says, "Take me to him." So you see him in the hospital bed, and he's completely like unconscious,
in a coma.
The scene you're describing, that's funny. The scene you're describing where they show him being tortured by all these demons or souls or whatever is quite literally one of the scariest things I've ever seen. I cannot wait to go. I want to screen cap it. It's very quick.
Yeah.
And it's unsettling, and it is that existential thought of what if, the next plane of existence were to be just the worst amount of pain and torture that you could ever imagine. Which, by the way, like,
you're describing my childhood, like growing up thinking that was real.
Like, all joking aside, like, that is the essence of why people turn to religion, because they're tricked into thinking that is what happens, and there's something you're supposed to do here.
Fear is a tremendous motivator for people. Yes.
Right. So
it's been used to manipulate people for a long time.
But Jacob, like, where do you think, well, before we get to that, let's actually talk about the ending, because the ending was really well executed as well.
Yeah, it's like it's straight out of my nightmares to be like isolated and shut off from connectivity with people, and to be trapped in a plane of existence where you're alone, just left with your own, like, you're just a ghost of who you were, and all that stuff. Literally, that felt like dreams I've had. It was terrifying, and to see it on a screen and as well executed as it was, I loved it. I thought it was a fucking impactful ending.
Well, earlier in the movie, she says she's having this reoccurring dream where she's looking into a mirror, but there's nothing there, which was like good foreshadowing. But yeah, Jacob, what did you think of the way that the ending played out?
Oh, I love the ending. The ending's great. I like a good bleak ending. And the way they did it, where she, something happens, there's a little bit of a car accident type deal. She's in the road. It's not explicit what just happened. You're like, oh, she's alive. She's getting up. She's walking back. Mm-hmm. But then things get weird. You're like, I instantly was like, oh, she's dead. She just died. She's dead. She's dead in the road. And it's confirmation that that's what your afterlife is. Like, that's what the end of this movie is, confirmation that the afterlife is, you're now
people shutting the lights off
in this plane. She's gonna transform into one of those creatures, like whatever those ghosts are. That's us. That's what we are when we die, and that's what's gonna happen to her. And they show you that by having her do the hand thing, right, being on the other side of it, and that's how the movie ends. So,
by the way, Jake, I like how you say you like a bleak ending. Let's go to one comment from Mike Davis. My uncle died once and was brought back. He said he didn't see anything, just complete darkness, which seems better than how this movie ends. Like, it seems like a better option.
Right.
I agree. Like, it kind of fucked me up. And what I kept thinking of for young first time writers and directors, like I haven't watched any interviews or anything with them, but I do wonder, like, because Jake, when I saw that scene,
one of them read Revival.
You think so? You think it's like?
I think one or both of them read Revival and was like, "Oh shit!" It probably got them think. That
Right.
It had to be one of their influences because it's not the same. The thing that happens, it's the idea of the afterlife is gonna be. There's no choice. It's everybody's gonna experience it, and it's bad. That's just a general. I'm not saying Stephen King created that thought. It's a very general thought, but it reminded me of Revival a lot.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we all liked it. I think it's something I'm going to watch again. It's nice to see a younger Gen Z led horror movie that can. I think
I didn't hate everybody.
Right.
That was refreshing.
I didn't like everybody. There might be one character that I hated.
I know.
But usually in these kind of movies, I hate everybody. And I'm like,
right.
I want all these people to die. Usually that's what you're thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I was with it. I was into it.
Yeah. And that's something that makes it unique and special and like relatable. And that's just not something you get with most horror movies. I think like the award shows and stuff usually kind of snub horror and say that it's like all cheap, but Stephen King has been writing horror in a way that has like makes you cry and you fall in love with characters and you read things that are just like too fantastic to imagine and too disturbing. And that's the stuff I chase and that's what I go after. And so to see a movie that like digs into that is I was just so happy to see it. And I think that their inspiration was probably from something like you're saying, Jacob, like Revival. And that's, yeah. I remember writing a paper on Dante's Inferno and I had to create my own level of hell. And like, it was for school. And it's
that sounds fun.
Yeah. I described the DMV.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah. It was a fun, I remember it was like a poignant paper that I wrote.
It's a lot like Earth now.
Yeah.
It's going to the movies and dealing.
I was like, it smells like piss everywhere. Yeah, exactly.
It smells like piss.
That was
100 degrees.
A lot of babies crying.
100 degrees is the hottest thing I could think of. Is South Georgia.
And the podcast never ends.
There's no water. Yeah.
You keep going.
You just keep podcasting.
Hey, I do want to so really good thoughts. Awesome. Like what's always exciting when you get two new filmmakers, a new filmmaker who do something really cool. They're going to get some heat. What are they going to do next? Like, I know that's happened with the guy who did Barbarian and everything else. So like, it'll be interesting. And from the little I've seen with these guys, they're big horror guys and they love their horror. So won't be surprised if these guys churn out another horror movie. But let's bring this home with answering the question, where is this? I mean, we've only seen it once. There's been a lot of great movies out there. There's been some really interesting and monumental horror movies that have come out over the last 5 or 6 years. Hereditary, Midsommar, obviously Barbarian, and even things like the new Evil Dead were like really fun. Where are we thinking? Is this? How did the hype affect your viewing of this, Jacob?
I think the hype hurt it a little bit, honestly. I think if I would have saw this movie, I liked the movie. I liked it, and I will rewatch it. But if I would have saw this and didn't read people saying this is the best horror movie in 5 years and it's really gonna fuck you up, and like if I saw it, then I maybe would have thought that too. I would have been like, oh fuck, this is great. But I was like, instead there was like a point 20 minutes in where I was like, that reviewer might be wrong. Like I was like, this is good, but it's not like. It didn't blow me away right away. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like as soon as it started. When I watched Hereditary for the first time, immediately I was like, I want to go home. You know what I mean? Like immediately. Yeah. This movie, it takes a little bit to get you to that spot. It's interesting and it's fun at first, but it took me a bit before I was like, oh shit, this is serious. So. Right. I always think hype hurts. I think it always hurts because nothing can live up to a bunch of people being like, it's the best thing I've ever seen. Nothing lives up to that. It just doesn't. So I think you have to be, I've said that before. You got to be careful. Like talking about movies, because it just gets in people's heads and you're just like, well, it wasn't as good as they said or you said. So
yeah, basically what I have to say about all that is don't talk to me. I'm not going to follow you. I don't know what outlets or sources you were following, Jacob. I'm sure that it's like, everyone's excited when there's something that's big and that.
Well, it happens a lot, especially in horror, because everybody's always looking for the.
Well,
next
if you're just looking for the most fucked up thing, like, sure, I guess if that's what you're chasing after. But I'm chasing after something more than that. I'm chasing after something that has like a deeper meaning, that's thoughtful, that might like help me to experience catharsis, or like open my brain up in a different direction, into a place maybe that's the most terrifying, maybe because I just want that shock or that jolt. And for that reason, I thought there was real characters, a real family dynamic, that real characters that you loved and wanted to protect, and you didn't want to see them hurt. And as you watched the cycle continue, it was scary, and it got confusing a little bit, like not in the way like I didn't know what was going on, but like you're literally like, it was just amazing is how I feel. I really loved this movie. I think that it rests highly in my top 5 of A24 movies. I'd say like Midsommar, Hereditary. This might be after that. Bodies. Fuck that movie. That was another like party movie with kids getting together, and it just did not execute and didn't achieve. Sorry, I watched that movie on a plane and just fucking hated it. But I loved Talk to Me. I absolutely loved it.
Here's
I
what
say
I'll
go
say.
see it. Yeah.
This concept could be in the wrong hands, could be the worst movie of all time. You know, that's what I was a little bit worried at first. I was like, oh, look at this hand. There was fucking doing this hand thing, and then everyone's getting
that shit was grounded in the
eyes all
relationship.
dilated on the phone. It was like,
but that was also so that grabbed me. I was like, oh my god, I knew nothing about this. So seeing that, I was like, wait a minute, that's fucked up. Wait a minute, that's fucked up.
All seriousness, this is what I'll say. Really good. Enjoyed it. Better than most modern horror movies that I've seen. It's kind of like there with Barbarian. Like, really liked it. Fun, scary, surprising. Hereditary gave me more actual existential crisis and anxiety than any movie I've ever seen in my life, especially like the first 45 minutes are fucking like and that's Ari Aster, like the guy's on a completely different level. So I think it's unfair when everybody just wants to say the best horror movie since Hereditary.
They're different movies. Yeah, you can appreciate on different levels, because Hereditary is not something that I want. I have not rewatched Hereditary. The first time was enough for me.
As bad.
What'd you say?
I've rewatched it a few times, and it's just as bad.
It gets you just as much. Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't let up to me. It's weird because
every time.
It's weird because I will be in a bad mood and I'll put Midsommar on, and it makes me feel better.
Yeah, I said that
the movie's still fucked up, but I watch it with a smile on my face.
Yeah, I said
Hereditary
it'll totally fuck you up without.
It'd make me pass out like Craig.
Yeah,
his little choking thing. Hey, you guys need to watch I Was Afraid.
I know, I do. I was talking
to. It's
out
now, like it's rentable now.
Yeah.
Quit doing your choking games.
Quit doing your goddamn choking games.
No, we don't condone anything, but we also don't shame anyone.
No, whatever you're into, just don't die. Hey guys,
don't die.
Let's all give a round of applause to Talk to Me. It was a lot of fun. Really well done. Scary, disturbing, upsetting, funny when it needed to be, but took itself very seriously and still grounded.
A little gross. Hey, and here I'm going to say something.
Gross.
One more thing about. There are 2 moments in the movie that I mentioned: the toe sucking. And the making out with the dog / whatever that scene was. One of my favorite things in movies is when, listen, this is not me saying, oh, I liked watching a guy make out with a dog. It's gross. But I like when the gross things are also funny. You know what I mean? Like when something's gross, but it makes you laugh. Right. And it's like, oh, fuck, I can't, like, I like that kind of gross out thing. And this movie's got a little bit of that in it.
And I also thought that scene was cool because everybody's completely freaked out and in shock. And then once that wears down, everyone's like, do it again.
He laughed about it and they did it again. Yeah, he did it again. So.
Anyways,
That was deeply messed up on just so many levels.
Yeah. Well, listen, we appreciate you guys being here, hanging out with us. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more from YHS Podcast, and we'll be back with Ghostbusters Radio Live. More movie reviews, more Patreon breakdowns. So if you want to be part of the Patreon, you can join us at patreon.com/yeshavesome. And we thank you for being here. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well. We got some really fun stuff coming up. Abigail, I'll give you the final thought since you had the emotional connection to this movie and you really loved it.
Mm-hmm.
What are your parting words?
I want more of these movies. This is
Talk to Me Too.
I want Talk to Me Too. I want Talk to Me the game. Girl Talk to Me.
Talk to me.
Me.
Just when you thought it was safe to shake that thing's hand.
Talk back, talk boy, everything. I want all of that stuff. I feel really relieved because I felt like I was missing out the night in at Comic-Con where I didn't get to see this movie.
Right.
It sort of tainted my viewing of Barbie, but I'll get into that later.
Oh, hey, Barbie's another movie that hype hurt, I think. It hurt it for me, the hype did.
Yeah.
This is pretty funny. Look who's talking to me too.
Look who's talking to me
that.
too. That's funny. The hands like
the hands got
hey.
The hands voiced by Bruce Willis now.
Oh. No. Nope. None of that.
None of that.
Yeah, give me quality horror movies that are like grounded and have real emotionally relatable subject matter and great actors and like completely fucked up stuff that I haven't seen. I chase after those messed up movies. I love them like you do, Jacob. And this movie has real stuff, real trauma, real grief, and real horror. And I really loved it.
Hey, I'm going to end on one new segment that I just made up, and I don't want to put you guys on the spot, but this segment is called, Hey, What's Next? So I'm going to ask each of you, what is the next piece of media, be it television, film, music, something that you're very excited about consuming? And I can start since I just put you guys on the spot.
Okay.
I think my very next piece of media I'm excited about will be the season finale of The Righteous Gemstones. Did I steal yours?
Yeah, you stole one.
I stole
Well,
it.
I still have a backup.
This is an easy question, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also very excited to go see Oppenheimer tomorrow night at the Plaza Theater in 70 millimeter. It's gonna be a movie going experience.
At least it's going to be a fun movie going experience at a cool theater in 70 millimeter. That maybe will make it better for me.
That seems like
We'll
not
see.
the best. I love the Plaza Theater. That seems like not the best theater you want to watch that kind of movie on.
You're right. Let's go see.
Seems
IMAX.
like you want to see that in an IMAX.
Have we already bought the tickets?
No.
Okay.
Don't.
Well, yeah,
don't
I could
let
do an
me change
IMAX.
your mind. I'm just.
No,
I just wanted to see the 70 millimeter
personally,
print, but it's all good.
It's tough for me to get excited about Oppenheimer. I'm not.
I'm probably gonna pass on that until it comes out.
Yeah. But I'm most excited for Mutant Mayhem since you took Gemstones finale. Yeah, I'm really excited to see the next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated movie.
I got spoiled on something on it today. I was so fucking mad.
Don't tell us.
I'm not going to, but I just want to let you guys know I saw something and I was mad.
Y'all need to stop looking for it.
I wasn't. The internet gives it to you.
Get off the internet, dude.
Get off the damn internet. Get off all
You
that.
saw that Rolex ad earlier.
That's what this movie was about. Don't use your phone.
All right, Jacob. Last thing. What are you excited about? What's next?
Oh well, there's a lot of movies coming out this next week. Like you mentioned earlier, I'm gonna go see Haunted Mansion and the Meg next week. But I think it's probably there's a movie that came out. We have not talked about this movie at all, and it became rentable while we were in California, and I'm gonna watch it tonight. But this movie, is it called Fool's Paradise, which is the Charlie Day. Charlie Day wrote a movie and directed it. And it looks kind of bonkers and it looks really fun. And it's got like a really like kind of wild cast. And I'm going to watch that tonight and I'm excited about seeing it.
Awesome. That sounds great. Well, as always, guys, you can leave a comment. Let us know what you're excited about in movies and television. And until next time, woo!
Hey, next week, I got a package in the mail. Which I just like that it says Ultimate 84 and has the Ghostbusters. Since we're going to do a Ghostbusters Radio Live next week, we're going to show these off and review these. These are they're like the Ecto 1, like ultimate decals that are, the most accurate decals that have been put out. It's Let's Run Some Red Lights on Instagram makes these.
Okay, cool.
And he sent me some, so I'm gonna open. I haven't opened them and checked them out yet, but we're gonna like open them and we're gonna review them on the show next week.
Sweet.
Cool.
I want to open something. Well, that sounds good. All right, everybody, have a great night. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next time. For Jacob Walsh and Abigail Gardner, my name's Craig Goldberg saying, if the hand is reaching
I knew
out,
you're gonna do this. Talk to me.
talk to me. What's the
I
second
let you
line?
in.
I let you in.
I'll let you in.
I don't let you in. Stay away. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
Don't go to that party.